Vrndavana Mahimamrta, January 20th, 2013. Ajasram Shankadeh Kandir Vyanjan Bharatambula Mridupat Samvahaya Divyabhana Vasanatye Pradayino Mahapremavesho Pulaka Rasagunayita Tanu Sada Radha Dasi Smara Ridaya Sevam Vidadati. Vrndavana Das Thakur, Prabhupada Saraswati is addressing his mind, and the mind of all of us, unless he's directing us and taking the role of the sadhaka, as all the great devotees do when they write shastras. When they're giving us directives how to do bhajan, what to think of, what to meditate on, what to pray for. So he's telling us this is what we should tell our mind. And there's several Gaudiya Vaishnavas have written what they call Manashiksha. The one that's most prominent with us, we've heard of Manashiksha from Raghunath Das Goswami. There's many Manashikshas from other Bengali devotees, and I've seen them quoted in so-and-so's, some verses, and it says so-and-so's Manashiksha. So I would suppose Shiksha means instructions. Manashiksha means teaching the mind, instructing the mind. And as every sadhaka knows that the mind is the best of friends or the worst of enemies. And that's what Krishna says in Gita. A mind that listens to spiritual instructions and follows them is the best of friends. But the mind that doesn't take spiritual advice and follows his own ideas and whims is the worst of enemies. Because an enemy is someone that does harm to you, and there's no greater harm than taking birth again. And if you follow the mind, then the surest goal, the surest result of following the mind is rebirth. But when we follow the mind of the sadhus and the saints, and we mold our mind according to their teachings and examples, then liberation is in our hand. So this verse 16th Shataka, verse 95 translates as, "My dear mind." Now he's going to tell the mind to do something, he's going to give an instruction, and we should give the same instruction to our minds. "Always meditate on Sri Radha's maid servants," because in Rupa Goswami's description of Raghunath Bhakti and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he says, "Brajaloka Anusarata." He says, "Brajaloka Anusarata." There's Anukaran and Anusaran. You must have heard these terms, Anusaran. Imitating the Guru or imitating the parishads of the Lord and following their footsteps. Brajaloka Anusarata means that we should follow in the footsteps of the great devotees of the Lord. What did they do? What did they think of? What did they practices did they perform when they were here in the tangible physical form, which we call their sadhaka roop? And what do they do in the spiritual world, in their siddhadeha, in service of Radha and Krishna? As we read about we see their life stories and teachings, we see what they do in this world in the service of Gauranga, primarily, and how they meditate on Radha and Krishna, and how they sing about Radha and Krishna and glorify them. But then they also reveal what they do in the spiritual world. Rupa Goswami, like all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, he has his dual identity, his sadhaka swarup and his nitya swarup. His sadhaka swarup, of course, is also his nitya swarup because he's teaching the role of a sadhaka as a shiksha guru of the Abhideya practices of sadhana bhakti. But in his case, his sadhaka roop is actually his form which he serves Lord Gauranga Nitya Leela. He's also a Brahmin in Gaur Leela, and he's also engaged in Harikatha, Gaur Leela, and Kirtan, just like he is here. And then, of course, in Vrndavana Leela, he's Sri Rupa Manjari. So we are in our sadhaka roop as conditioned souls aspiring for liberation, and we're also serving Lord Gauranga by serving his parampara following the teachings of the Parampara, exemplifying them and teaching them to others in the mode of preaching. The outward mission of Lord Chaitanya. And we're also following Lord Chaitanya by identifying with his internal mission and assisting Krishna and Radharani in the eternal service in Vrindavan. But the difference between our sadhaka group is that it's made of this material energy, and the sadhaka groups of the eternal associates of the Lord are all transcendental. But when we become liberated, then we'll get two sarups, one to serve Gauranga. Basically it's one sarup. It's the Seva sarup to serve Radha and Krishna. When Radha and Krishna become Gauranga, then all the associates have to assume another feature of their service, another form. So the form is one, it's a form of Seva. But then this Krishna is one and he expands into unlimited forms of what? Enjoyers. To enjoy multifarious forms. So all of Krishna's expansions are like that, Purushas. But all of his energy exists for his pleasure. So they expand in unlimited forms. There's unlimited Narada Munis and unlimited, because there's unlimited universes. And Narada Muni is traveling and preaching in every one. So in the unlimited universes, all these servants of the Lord are pleasing the Lord. So when we get our Swarup and Gaur Leela, then we'll be sadhakas, we'll look like we're sadhakas, we'll be hearing and chanting and following rules and regulations like Lord Chaitanya did in his Navadvip Leela. And doing very much the same things, but our body will be transcendental, chinmaya. Of course, people think that Krishna took a material body when he appeared in this material world, but he didn't. Neither Krishna took a material body when he appeared in this world, nor did his parishats, because his parishats are his expansions, direct Swarup Shakti. Rupa Mantri is the Swarup Shakti of Krishna. Kaya Vyuha Radharani. So it's no less when he becomes Rupa Mantra, Rupa Swami. He's also transcendental. So he's saying that we should meditate on Sri Radha's maidservants who feel transcendental ecstasy. When do they feel ecstasy? When they're doing seva. When does any servant of Krishna feel ecstasy? When he's doing service. And the materialist, when he's enjoying, he feels what he considers to be ecstasy. Bhog vilas. Bhog vilas and, what do you say? Sukh, Swarga Sukh, Indriya Sukh, the happiness of living in Swarga, or enjoying the physical body and senses. But it really is not ecstasy, although everyone's searching for that ecstasy. So the maidservants were supposed to meditate on the maidservants, their forms, their names, their moods of seva, and then how they're feeling transcendental ecstasy when they're doing seva. What service? Putting flower garlands on their beloved Radha and Krishna. So we're sadhakas and we put flower garlands on our beloved Radha and Krishna, Varnitai or Giridhari. And sadhakarup, well, we'll do the same thing in siddharup. It's just a matter of the switch. The switch is the electric switch on the board on the wall. When you switch it at night, the whole room becomes illuminated with light. And the same thing when we switch our consciousness, our whole life becomes illuminated with light. Our whole life becomes illuminated with light, the light of pure consciousness, the light of pure realization, where one actually sees, I am so-and-so, this is me, this is my hankar, my real identity. I am this Brahmin boy, serving Gauranga, the young Brahmin boy, and Mayapur, I am this young Kishori Saki, Kishori Gopi, like that, what was that? Ali Kishori Das Baba, was it? One famous Siddha saint of Yerevan, Barsana, Vrndavana. Famous. His name is and was Ali Kishori Dasi. Das or Dasi now, whatever. So we are also, it's just a switch of consciousness. But Prabhupada said you can be Krishna conscious in 1 second. Because this whole, like, it's just like, what's the difference between a nightmare and no nightmare? Nightmare means you're sleeping. Nightmare, if you don't know, nightmare means you're sleeping, having a horrible, fearful experience in your subtle body called dream. So what's the difference between the nightmare and then the relief? It's just a second. You're sleeping and in a nightmare and you open your eyes. Oh, relief. I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm safe. So that means you've changed your consciousness, your conscious state from swapna to jagrata. You're just like you're a swapna and you're in this fearful situation due to illusion and the illusory productions of your mind and the dream frightening you. And then, in a second you open, as soon as this time it takes to open your eyes in your jagrata, the dream is over. So that's how much time it takes to become Krishna conscious. As much time as it takes to open your eyes. And that's why the gopis curse Brahma. Oh, you're making your eyes blink at 40 times a minute or something, I forget, it's a long time since I was in medical school. I think it was 40 times a minute, the eyelids, we blink, we don't even know it. It's just going on like so much automatic. And so the gopis were cursing, oh, we can't be Krishna conscious for that blink of an eye. And in the one verse, it's called truti. So the Sanskrit word is truti, and the translation in the Bhagavatam says that a truti is 1/1700th of a second. It's translated as a blink of an eye. Oh, providence, oh vidata, oh vidata. Oh providence, oh Brahma, oh creator of this world. You're a fool. It's like a child's game, what you've done. You're like playing some game of a child. You're foolish, stupid. You created eyelids that blink. And then there's other poems where in Padyavali places where the gopis are saying, oh providence, why didn't you give us eyes like the eyes of a fish? Because eyes of a fish they have no eyelids. They don't blink their eyes. Their eyes are wide open, otherwise a big fish will eat the little fish if you blink your eyes. To stay on guard. So why didn't you make it like a fish? It's very interesting, since I started talking about blinking your eyes, everyone's blinking their eyes. I'm looking, always the speaker is looking at the audience is looking at the speaker, everyone's going. Of course, maybe it's time to sleep, also 4 o'clock. No, you definitely sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning, and maybe also at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. At least you're supposed to get up. So this is the amazing thing, that Shastras are supposed to open our eyes. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnana. So the Guru is the walking Shastra, the Guru is the talking Shastra. Here he comes, walking, talking Shastra. He walks his talk and talks his walk, and he's the Guru, he's the Shastra. So it's a very nice point. We think we're reading this as if someone needs reading glasses and he holds a book out like this to read or something, because his eyes, you can't read like this when he goes like that. You can see it. Some people, what's this say? What's this say? So when we read these Shastras, we think that, oh, it's very far away, this spiritual dimension, this spiritual, I know, Narta-Nirati, this, that, I'm so fallen, I'm just like, and we rather like to be fallen. We like to be fallen, and the more we can think ourselves fallen and cover ourselves with all kinds of bad qualities and bad desires, then we can, that much slower we can progress, we can move on the path of bhakti and take it easy on in our world of independence. But if we start to think, actually, I'm almost there. It's actually right in front of me. It's right here. It's just like, oh, there's dark. Oh, it's dark in my room. Oh, where's that light switch? Where's the light switch? Oh, then sometimes you travel. You stay in a hotel or some guest house or somewhere, and you get disoriented because when you wake up, you usually go this way and find the light switch or whatever. And then you go somewhere, and then you have to think, oh, where was it? And you're going like this, and as soon as you find the light switch and hit it, then boom! Oh, yeah. So we have to find that light switch, which opens, takes us out of the darkness. Because the Shastras are showing us the way. This is the way. This is you. You're there. You're putting the flower garland on Radha Krishna. No, me. And then even the Goswamis in the writing, they say, although I'm not qualified for this. And I'm wretched, I'm low, and undeserving. But still I'm praying to you for this service. Still I want this opportunity. Won't you give it to me? You're Karuna Mahimamrta. And so, Amirata. So now, this is the meditation, this is the Manashiksha that Prabhupada Saraswati is giving us. Meditate, yeah, this is me, and I'm doing this. And I'm feeling ecstatic to do it, just like we feel ecstatic when we do service, when we actually do seva with heart. When we serve with heart, we feel good. And for example, say a guru says, oh, I want to do this seva, and I want you to go out and collect some money. So then you go out hard and you collect some money and you bring it to the guru for any particular seva. Or you liquidate some assets or whatever. And then, as soon as you offer that seva, that say Lakshmi, to the guru in his hand, and even while you're doing that service, you feel so happy. You feel like, oh, this is blissful. Every time you render service, if you're not feeling blissful when you're quote unquote serving Guru or Vaishnavas, it means you're not doing seva, you're doing work. Work, one of the qualities of work, karma, is parishram. Parishram means fatigue or labor. Parishram, how do you say? Hard work. You feel like, if you're doing seva and you're not feeling blissful, then it's actually parishram. And what's fatigue? How do you say fatigue? Takan. So we just feel, oh, this is so fatiguing. But if one actually does seva, because the heart is made to serve Guru and Vaishnava, that's how it is made. So if you're serving Guru and Vaishnava, which is the objective, which is the object of the movement of the heart, and the object of the movement of the body and senses, this is the object. And bliss is not coming, that means you haven't connected with the Savior Bhagavan. There's the Sevak Bhagavan and the Savior Bhagavan. Sevak Bhagavan is the devotee. He's doing seva. And the Savior is the one who's the recipient of the service. That's Krishna. So when we render service, then we connect with Bhagavan and we feel blissful. The seva, the service of the Sevak Bhagavan, the personality of servitorship, the disciple, the devotee of the Lord, when his heart is there, then he's connected with the Savior Bhagavan. That's where he lives. And he feels ecstatic because Krishna is Ananda Sarupam. His form is made of bliss. And seva is the access to it. Seva gives access to the ocean of bliss. Because seva moves our heart into the heart of Krishna. That's what seva does. Seva moves our heart into the heart of Krishna. And Krishna's heart is Ananda, he's Rasavaya, he's full of ras and he's full of bliss. Ananda Swarup and Rasavaya, he's made of Rasa Swarup. So then we feel blissful. So that's why seva makes us happy, joyful. I'm not reading, this is my life. I realize that. I'm speaking. So we can relate. He says, while smearing sandalwood pulp on them and gently massaging their lotus feet, and while dressing them in opulent clothes. So here, Saraswati Pada has mentioned garlands and sandalwood, pushpa, mala seva and chandan seva, and alepana and shringara. Alepana means to apply unguents on the body or to embellish. No, it's called abhyanga. Abhyanga means to massage. So they're doing all these different services and they're feeling ecstasy. So we should meditate on Radha's maidservants and all the books that describe what they look like and how we can think of what we may look like or want to look like or aspire to look like. Some people in the material world, they have some role models. They have what they call role model. Either he's a role model for a quality or he's a role model for beauty or opulence. Some quality, someone may be a role model. Say you're a sportsman, and you may be a cricketer, or whatever you call cricketer. And so you may have a role model that represents expertise, represents the quality of expertise in that art of sport of soccer. It may not have the quality of beauty or good speech or education or even wealth or whatever, but you emulate him, so he's your role model. Or someone, and because you're aspiring to be expert in sports, and someone else may be more interested in being handsome or beautiful, so they find some handsome movie star, and then they have his poster on the wall in their house or something. And he's their role model. I would like to look like that, or I'd like to play cricket like that, or whatever. So this is the whole idea of meditating on the learning about and hearing about the forms and sevas and moods of sevas of Radha Sakhis and Manjaris. So we actually cultivate, I want to be like that, like that. And that attraction to want to be like that type of ruchi comes from bhakti. One develops that attraction. One does bhakti, bhajan, becomes purified, he starts reading about Krishna. First it's, when you hear about, you come to Krishna consciousness, say from a very basic beginning, oh, there's someone known as God, and there's Krishna. And you're supposed to worship God, his name is Krishna. That's kind of the starting base. Then someone says, well, there's Krishna and he has a girlfriend too. Oh, well, that's about right. And we approach God because everyone in the world has some idea that there's someone named God, even Quran and the Muslims and everyone. But then we find out, well, he has somebody else with God. There's Radha. There's Hare Krishna, there's Radha and Krishna. Oh, please, Radha, please. Okay, there's one person named Radha, and we pray to her to engage us in Krishna service. But then we find out, well, wait a minute, they live somewhere, a spiritual world, and they have associates. And then the whole thing starts to expand more and more, that not only are your Radhadev is God or Krishna, but then your Radhadev is his energy or his devotees, Radha, and then, well, there's more devotees. And then you start to read the pastimes and you find these names and devotees that are doing different activities in relation to Krishna and Radha. Krishna is the center, and he has a mother and father. And as you read more and more and hear all the whole panorama of the spiritual world starts to manifest in your consciousness, that it's a multi-tiered level. It's like this world. There's so many rasas and relationships, and so many interactions and exchanges with different people, and there's social orders there, and there's everything is there in the spiritual world. And then you're going on in Bhakti Bhajan, hearing about the totality of all these relationships, and then an attraction awakens in the heart. Some abhas, some attraction. Okay, now I have some idea what's going on up there, and reading about this and that, and this relationship with Krishna's mother, and his friends, and his servants, and his lovers and his queens in Dwarka. And it's all very wonderful and attractive and interesting. But this particular, these devotees and their relationship and their services with Krishna, they're attracting me too much. I just always want to read about them or think about them. That's the type of ruchi which indicates the direction that you'll go, indicates your identity, your long-standing, undeveloped attraction for Krishna. Sthairati. And this is, people may say, there's different ideas. Someone say, some acharyas, just like, for example, you talk about the nature of the jiva among Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas who accept God as a person. And there's different viewpoints of the nature of the jiva. He's one with the Lord, or he's different from the Lord. There's all these different viewpoints are there. So the same thing. But our line, we're told by Rupa Goswami, Rajalokana follow one of the residents of Vrindavan. You must follow the Brijavasis if you want to get to Vrindavan. So these are the teachings that are being given to us by Prabhupada Saraswati. In this verse, we can read another translator says, "Oh mind," because Sada Radhadasi Smara Hridaya Sevam Vidadati. Vidadati. That's pretty easy. Anyone can figure that out. Always remember that you're a servant of Radha. Sada Radhadasi Smara Hridaya. And in your heart you're rendering various Hridaya Seva Vidadati. You're rendering various services to Radharani. So here he's saying, my dear mind, and here he's saying, my dear heart. O heart, please meditate on Radha's maid servants. Their bodies tossed by waves of nectar, and their hairs upright in ecstatic love. They're serving the divine couple with garlands, perfumes, fanning them, betel nuts, and gently massaging their feet. Always eternally serve the affectionate divine couple. Basically the same idea, just a little bit different viewpoints of some of the Maha Prema Vesh Utpulaka Rasa Gornayata Tanu. Gornayata Tanu, their bodies were Utpulaka, that's what he says here, so their bodies were tossed by waves of nectar and their hairs were upright in ecstatic love. And that's his sentence here. Utpulaka, that means the hair standing an end. Prema Vesh, they had so much deeply entered into the loving service of the Lord. Rasa Gorna Ita Tanu. Tanu means body, their bodies were tossed in this ocean of rasa. Something extraordinary. This is the experience of serving Radha and Krishna on that level. Doing the same things we do here. We offer a tambul, we fan the Lord, and we grind chandan. And we barely sometimes can stay awake, or, because we're in different states of consciousness when we do puja sometimes, tired or fatigued or whatever. That's a whole different experience there. So again, we're reminded of the direction, the goal, the direction. Reminding in these shlokas of the goal, the prayojanam, and the means to get there, and how the mind is, of course, the most valuable ally in our progress of spiritual perfection. So the mind must always be spoken to and instructed. It's like a forgetful child. When you're raising a child, you tell him 1,000 times, and finally he gets the idea, I should do like this. 1,000 times you tell the child, you should sit properly, sit straight. Then finally the child says, oh, my mother wants me to sit straight. So this mana shiksha, everyone should have their own mana shiksha. You see Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he modeled his niyam, what is it called, Swaniyam Dashika or something. He had these instructions, his own niyam means rules or laws or rules to abide by, sevas, rules like niyam seva. He read Mana Shiksha, then he customized it to himself, how it would apply to him, because he got the drift. He got the drift from the Acharya's example that this is what's done in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And as I mentioned earlier, there are many small books called Mana Shiksha by Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And even Shankaracharya, he wrote a book for sannyasis in the Shankara school to address their mind. And it has 10, I believe it has 10 shlokas or 108 shlokas. It's called Mugdha Katarika or something like that. And it says, basically it translates Mudga Kutarika, Kutara or something. That translates as the sledgehammer against illusion. Because a Mugdha, like be Mugdha means illusion. So there's shlokas in there. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he asked the sannyasis and his followers to memorize these shlokas. And many of the Gaudiya Math sannyasis, least the Indian ones that I know, when I heard about it, they also memorized many of these shlokas. And oftentimes they all end up with Manasa Chintya Bharam Avaram. He says again and again, you should think, Chintya, in your mind about this illusion that's in front of your eyes, whatever that variety of that illusion may be, manifesting in the mirage of the material world. Because the material world is a mirage factory, producing various illusions which we chase after one after the other, seeking for ras and ending up with sand, seeking ras and tasting sand. Because the mirage is the impression of water in the desert, so the animal runs after the mirage. Because water is called ras. So seeking ras and ending up and tasting sand. Ras is to be tasted. It's chamatkar, it's astonishing, and it's tasty, and it's ever different and attractive. That's ras. But this material world is a mirage factory, producing one pool of illusion, pools of illusion one after another. And a foolish animal like humans, they run after those pools of illusion, seeking ras and tasting sand. That's a kind of poetic way to explain about the reality of this rather dreary existence called samsara. But cheer up, it's not that bad. There's hope. There's asha. Hope. Bhakti means asha. Bhakti is the goddess of hope. Devotion. The goddess, Bhakti is a goddess, the Devi, and she has some maidservants with her. And one of them is hope, Asha Devi. There's a Devi, there's actually a Devi in charge of hope, Asha Devi. Laja Devi, Asha Devi. Asha means hope, aspiration, hope. Prabhupada used this phrase, hope against hope. It seems like it's impossible to attain the perfection which we're striving for. It's impossible to realize the perfection which we're describing. In eternal prema seva Radharani in the kunjas of Vrindavan, it seems unreachable, unattainable, and impossible. Gatana agatana patiyasi shakti. So Krishna knows, oh, something impossible? I have something for you. You go to the doctor's office and say, oh, I have this problem. Oh, I have something for you. I'll give you this medicine. So we approach Bhagavan and we say, Bhagavan, I have a problem. What is that? It's called the impossibility problem. The impossibility problem. I'm feeling that the prospects that you're presenting are impossible to attain. So therefore, can you have some cure for that? Yes, look, I have this right here in my store. You take one bottle. See this bottle? Gatana, agatana, patiyasi shakti. This is a shakti, this is a power which makes it possible, impossible, and the impossible possible. Or just take a dose. Like you're thinking, how will I ever get free from family life? It's impossible. It's impossible to get free from family life. Because I look everywhere around me, and everyone is stuck until the 99th year in family life. And they're always saying, yes. Even they're Vaishnavas and they're following a strict path of sadhana. Yes, I should renounce all this, and I'm working on it, and I'm just about to do it. And they're 60 and 70 and 80 and 90. And it's impossible. This is the aghara, mituni aghara, the shackles of man-woman combination. It's intense. It's like a heavy ball and chain. Impossible to sever or break. But that's the one, so when you drink that medicine, the impossible becomes, what's impossible becomes possible. You get free from the bondage. And then that impossible attainment becomes possible. Not only becomes possible, it becomes plausible. Not only becomes plausible, but it becomes placeable. It becomes placed in your consciousness when you actually see, I'm there. I'm sitting here, but I'm there. And this is what Leela Smaran is about. This is what Smaran is about. I'm sitting here, my body's here, but I'm there. You ever dream at night? Your body's in the bed, but you're there. Where? Only you know. You know better than I do. But when we sit for meditation, the body is there. The body's here, but somebody else is there. That somebody else is there. And meditation is us. That's really us. Like sometimes yogis, they astral travel. And they leave they're sitting in meditation in some cave, and they leave there's a subtle thread. The yogis talk about this subtle cord that connects the Atma to this body. It's a psychic cord. There's a name for it also. They call it a cord, like a rope, like on a surfboard. You have this stretchy thing, and then around your ankle, and it falls off. So they can go so far. So they go so far, they can travel to Swarga. Pantastakoti, there's that verse in Brahma Samhita, Pantastakoti Manipungavana. It says one can travel, Pantastakoti Manipungavana. It says one can travel, maybe one can travel on the speed of the mind for millions of years and not reach the end. P-A-N-T-S. So this, they travel very far in by their psychic powers of meditation. And then sometimes they go somewhere where they like. They actually like where they are. And they stay there. They don't come back. And then the body just sits there in a cave, and then eventually disintegrates and goes to ashes and dust. Not to ashes, to dust. And then when they go to that new plane, because they traveled on their subtle body, and they found some subtle atmosphere that was very attractive. All these higher planets are in the realm of mind, because they're traveling the speed of minds. So this is a water planet. This is a water and earth planet, and our bodies are water and earth. There's 75% water and 25% earth. But then there's the mental body. So there's domains and realms and planets where there's no. They look at the telescope. Oh, there's no water there. You can't support life. They say, oh, there's no water there. That's a gaseous atmosphere. But life has nothing to do with water. It has nothing to do with earth. Sarvagata says that the living entities are all over the universe. So this verse about the yogis and traveling on their subtle cord is in Brahma. Sampragamyo vayoratapi manaso muni pungavanam. Manaso muni pungavanam. So yasti yat prapadasim yanichinta tatve govindamani purusham tamaham bhajami. Pant, we say Bhagavad Pant, the Pant. Pant means the path. Panta Koti Shata, thousands of millions of years extending, sampragamya, extending over thousands of millions of years on the path. Wind, traveling on the winds of the mind. The Vayu Manasa, traveling on the winds of the mind. The Muni Pungavanam, the foremost. Punga means, like Tunga, and Tunga Vidya means, Tunga and Punga are very similar. We say Krita Punya Punja, this kind of means very concentrated, intense, and best of. So the foremost, the Pungavanam, Muni Pungavanam, the foremost Gyanis and Munis. Prapadasimni, after all of that traveling, they stay, like we have this what's this hair part called? Simanta? So it says Simni. Simni means they go to the tip. Avichintya Tatve, beyond the material conception. So they go beyond the material conception, but they just get to the tip of the spiritual reality in the translation. I worship Govinda. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Only the tip of the toe of Govinda's lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after transcendence. And to get there, they take up the process of pranayama. Or by the Gyanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. So that Prabhupada, when he speaks in this verse, he says even the Munis traveling for millions of years, Fantastakoti, usually translates it in relation to the yogis. because it's kota shati means millions, so millions vatsara, vatsara means years, millions and millions of years extending over, traveling over the wind like the wind. You can't reach the conclusion, but by bhakti you can. So anyway, this is just the point about yogis, they travel so far. We can leave this body, sit this body in one place and go to the spiritual world by the strength of our meditation. We realize the spiritual world to different degrees according to the intensity and depth of our meditation, which is backed, again, the strength and depth of our meditation and our penetration, the strength and depth of our meditation on transcendence, and the degree to which we can penetrate and enter the transcendental realm depends not only on practice of smaran and meditation, but it depends on the purity and of bhakti, of devotion, more than anything. And of course, bhakti is the essential element, and jnana and vairagya are simply her shadows. But the actual essential substance is loving devotion, pleasing the Lord. And that itself, if one is absorbed in loving devotion and pleasing the Lord, that is an expression of the greatest knowledge and greatest vairagya. So bhakti is the essence. Bhakti, the whole idea is all the vairagya, all the detachment and knowledge is meant to bring us to the point where we serve Krishna with full love and devotion without cessation, moment to moment. The pursuit is not detachment or knowledge. That's why it says in first canto Bhagavatam, if one does bhakti, then he gets these other things automatically. But in order to do bhakti, you have to have some knowledge of bhakti tattva. That's why there's jiva tattva, nam tattva. This is all part of bhakti tattva. Who is Guru? Who is Bhagavan? Bhagavad Tattva, Guru Tattva, Vaishnava Tattva, all these truths, and we synthesize them all. But for one, that's why Prabhupada once said, bhakti is is easy for the simple-hearted. But most of us in Kali Yuga, we're not simple-hearted. If we were simple-hearted, we wouldn't be born in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the age of complexity. Look inside a computer. This is the age of complexity. And so our dealings are complex, our thinking is complex, the simple, straight, narrow, clear path of loving devotion is so difficult to perceive and so difficult to understand in this Kali Yuga. Forgetfulness is everywhere. So this is now, let's discuss another verse. 102. It's another very prominent theme, this theme of hankering. As everyone knows, that we know about hankering, because that's what desire means. Desire means desire, if you ask yourself, what does desire mean? It means desire. What is desire? It means a want. Is it right? A want. A need, a want. And then we define the want, and that's something we want, and then to that mood, that feeling, or that bhav, which drives us towards attaining that need or want or object or person, is called hankering. Hankering, yearning. Sometimes we want something that's practically unattainable, realistically. So we just, we dream about it. Well, it'd be nice someday. Like when we're young, I remember when we were young boys and my friends, we'd say, if you had $100 million, what would you do? And we would sit down, because we're like that kind of people, kind of business-minded type. I suppose if I was raised in a Brahmin family, the boys would ask each other, well, if you knew Sanskrit right now, what would you do? Like a 5-year-old boy. Would you start giving saptahas? If you know ragas, what would you do? I don't know what their line of question, but since we were from more of a Vaishya, Kshatriya background, this was what the boys would say. So that means, but the idea is that we have these wants and desires, Then we hanker. We either dream about them if they're unattainable, but if they're somewhat within our reach, then we hanker, oh. So this concept, this principle of emotions and feelings is very much part of spiritual life also. Hankering, yearning, desiring, lalasa. You heard this term, lalasa. What does lalasa mean in Hindi? Lalasa. Or I heard it means something like hankering. There's nothing like that? Lalasa? Lalasa or lalasa? Lalasa. What does it mean?
Greed. Strong desire.
Strong desire. So it means intense hankering. Craving, okay? We're getting the syntax here. What?
Tivra ichha.
Yeah. That's a nice way to describe it. Tivra ichha, like a laser beam. Desire that's so intense, it's like it's unbreakable as a laser beam. Try to break a laser beam, make it bend its rays. So you can't bend someone who's possessed by that kind of tivra ichha. He will not be able to be deterred or bent in any way, and that desire will burn right through his heart like a laser ray will burn through steel. They have laser, what do you call them, saws and all kinds of things. At any rate, yearning. So in the spiritual life, there's so many bhajans by the acharyas where they say either one of two words, kada or kabe. Kada or kabe. It means when. When. When will this happen? When? Rupa Goswami is praying when, Vishnu Chakravarti is praying when, Narottam Das Thakur is praying when, Prabhupada Saraswati is praying when, everyone's praying when, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying when, and we're praying when also. But we usually say, when is prasadam? When are you coming? When am I getting some this, that? But and they're hankering. It's a bhav, it's a feeling. It generates urgency. Hankering generates urgency, and it generates a type of kinetic energy which propels us forward on the path of surrender. Siddhi lalasa, desiring for some higher perfection. So it's relative to the position we're in. If you ask the baby sitting on his backside, say, what perfection would you like right now? I'd like to be able to walk and stop falling on my back, my bottom. So that's it. So his desirable perfection, it's relative to the position you're in. So when you can't control your tongue, for example, then you say, oh Krishna, when will I be able to control my tongue? So you pray for that, or any particular sense, the working senses or the knowledge-acquiring senses which are pushing us in their various bully-type ways. They're bullying us around. The working senses, the hands are working senses, and they're pushing us to touch wrong things or unmentionable things. And the stomach is, I'd like this, all these things already. So now, they have, this is this prayer, 102. Vrndavana kimapi janata dush pravesham pradesham. Vrndavana kimapi janata dush pravesham pradesham. Gatva procher nija dvaitayor nama jalpanu dashu atyanta artya vikala divya murtya kapyabi. Shri Ashvaryagya Karamriga Drishavak Surashva Sitasyam. Surashva Sitasham. So this is his hankering here. He's also saying when here. When, although I don't, or Kim also, in Sanskrit, Kim is also translated as K-I-M, with a dot over it, doesn't have here, a dot over M, is also translated as when, or otherwise it's kada, or kabe. Bengali is kabe. You heard that song, Kabe Habe Bolo Se? Aparada Guchi's Shuddhanama Ruchi. When will that day come? When will I enter into a solitary place of Vrindavan and loudly chant the names of Radha and Krishna? When will I remember the divine couple who are my life and soul and float in tears of love by chanting their nectarine holy names? Well, that is the hankering of Saraswati Pad. It should shape the quality or type of hankering that we ourselves as sadhakas have. Just think, this is the three most powerful, essential practices of bhakti sadhana are mentioned here. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. This is the essence of devotion in practice. And you can say this is the essence of devotion in perfection because the means and the goal are the same. The practice of bhakti and the perfectional expression of bhakti is just a matter of the deepening of the bhav, otherwise all the activities are the same. And the gopis are hearing about Krishna and chanting about Krishna and deeply remembering Krishna, kanda smaran, without any break, with full love, mahabhav. Mahabhav, hearing mahabhav, chanting mahabhav, remembering. This is the gopis. That's the love-enriched sadhana. It's not sadhana for them, it's their love's expression. It's their love's expression. It's hearing about their beloved, chanting about their beloved. And they are the perfect examples of the Bhagavad Gita. That's why when some Rasik Janas speak on Bhagavad Gita, they say this verse 10.9 in Gita, nutshell verse Chatushloki. This best describes the Sakhis of Radharani and Krishna. Mat chitta mat gata pranas bodhyantas parasparam gatayantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Because ramanti means Raman. Raman means Madhurya Vilas, Shringar Ras, divine conjugal amorous union, Ramanti. And the ultimate end of Raman, Ramanti, the Raman Anti, the ultimate end of bliss and satisfaction, the buck stops there. That's the highest expression of divine beatitude and beauty and sweetness. And the gopis, Madchita Madgata Pranas, they are pran sakhis, they're very pran, their life and soul and everything is Radha and Krishna. And their chitta, their consciousness, chitta means heart and consciousness. Madchita Madgata Pranas, their pran and their heart and chitta has gata, is gone deep into the heart and heart of Radha and Krishna. Madchita Madgata, Madgata, Gata, to go into the heart of Krishna. Madchita Madgata Prana Bodhayantas Paran Bodhayantak. They are the highest, most greatest intelligent personalities in the entire universe. Bodhayantak. Buddhi Anta. The limit of intelligence, the limit of conscious thinking and understanding is found in the Braja Gopis. So much so that such a Satama, such a brilliant person, the most brilliantly erudite, educated person in the universe, Uddhav, is praying to these gopis, or so-called quote-unquote illiterate village girls who can't read Sanskrit, they don't know Harinam Vyakaran, or let's say Vyakaran, and, but they know music expertly, and they know dancing expertly, and they know how to serve Krishna expertly. And that's the perfection of intelligence, to know how to sing, dance, to sing, dance, and please Krishna. This is the greatest expression of intelligence. Bodhyantas parasparam, katayantas chamam nityam. Who is moment to moment absorbed in Harikatha? The gopis. Tushyanti. And by speaking about Krishna and Radha in their absence, then they feel a relief. They feel relief from the burning pain of separation. That's the tushyanti. that dosham. The dosham represents that pacification, that solace, when they're burning in fire separation from Krishna. It's called rasudgar. Rasudgar. Rasudgar means when a Saki, Shamala Saki, or Chandankala Saki will come to Yavat Gram in the afternoon after Radharani's left Krishna and Suryakund. And she's gone home and she's burning and scorching in the fire separation from Sham. And the gopis don't know, they're besides themselves, they don't know what to do, they're exasperated, they're at their wits' end, they've tried everything to comfort their Swami, their Ishwari. And they tried all possible means of cooling the body. We're medical people here, and so if someone has some fire, so you lay them on ice packs and all different ways to try to cool their bodies down. Camphor or sandalwood, so many things they tried, the natural cooling things of this world, even exotic applications, like lie them on flower beds and fresh stemless beds, flower beds of stemless roses, just thousands of roses or lotus petals, and fanning them with banana leaves dipped in chilled water that was kept on the rooftop under the full moon in clay pots made with black clay, because black clay is cooler than red clay. So kalamiti mudkas, full of the deepest, coldest water from the deepest part of the earth, and it's put on the moon, and the moon shines there, and they sprinkle camphor, and it's camphorated water. Sometimes it's used for drinking in the summer also. But in this case, they use that camphorated water from that super tandi black clay pot, and they dip in a banana leaf, and the water's still there, and they're fanning Radharani. Such cool breeze, it's like better than AC. It's like five air conditioners. And still the beads of perspiration are forming collecting under Radharani's eyelids, and beads on her forehead, and she's breathing deep, panting, Krishna. They don't know what to do, they're fanning her. They give her cooling drinks, they give her all kinds of rusasava or whatever they call it. Ruasava or whatever it is, Some tandai, called tandai. Some tandais, and cool her down. And that's still no success. They do like get cooling drinks. And then they massage her feet with ice cubes, or whatever. And no success. And then Chandankala. Her name is Chandankala, very interesting. Her name is Chandankala Saki. She comes, and the lead says, oh, Chandankala's come. She just come from Krishna. She has some wonderful news. It's going to come out of her mouth like nectar to soothe your aching soul, Radharani. So then, Chandankala starts speaking to describe the pastimes that she just witnessed directly with Krishna, seeing him with the cowherd boys. So she starts pouring the nectar of this Harikatha into the burning heart of Radharani, and she starts cooling down. Her breathing starts to slow down, the perspiration dries up on her forehead and cheeks, and her heartbeat slows down, and her fingers were like clenched. She was so much anxiety, and her fingers started to relax as she was lying in the flower bed and listening. And gradually, from this anguished look on her face of anxiousness and sadness, her face started to relax and look like a little baby when he's sleeping. Little baby's face when he's sleeping, very cherubic and peaceful, glowing with satisfaction. Babies, after they take the milk from the mother's breast and they go to sleep, they're actually glowing with satisfaction. Their radiance indicates their fulfillment in the ras, because they're drinking this ras from their mother, this stana amrit. And it's actually, they're drinking ras, but they're drinking love. And love makes their forms radiate. So babies, you can see, after they take their mother's milk, their faces are very radiant when they're sleeping. You ever saw them? So Radharani started to look like so much beautiful just by hearing about the Harikatha. So that's why the gopis, they're the perfect exemplars of this verse. Machitam Gatam Pranam Bodhiyantas Prasram Gatayantas Chamam Nityam. Nityam. Also, so many Sadhus get together and they have some Harikatha, and then they go home and this, that. But Nitya, moment to moment, Harikatha, enriching each other's consciousness, drenching each other's consciousness with Krishna, descriptions of Krishna's form and qualities and pastimes. Tushanti cha, ramanti cha. It says, Machita makata pranas, bodhyantas pranas, katayantas tamam nityam. Nityam, kata nityam, and nityam tushanti nityam ramanti. It's explained that Radharani is having eternal union with Krishna, moment-to-moment union with Krishna. And she's having moment-to-moment tushanti, experiencing the greatest satisfaction every moment. So that's nityam. The aspects of separation is just it's another form of union. Separation in the divine realm is not the separation that we know. That viyog, that viraha, that painful, burning sadness being separated from one's beloved. But there it's just another aspect of the sambhog is the viraha. It just increases the enjoyment. It changes the flavor and direction of their enjoyment and union, viraha. But still, there's no question of Radha and Krishna ever being separated. It's impossible. That's why it says that because their combination of Radha and Krishna is a combination of love. It's the perfection of love. So love moves like a river, it moves like a snake. And the snake goes here and goes there. So the oneness of Radha and Krishna's praying, the Shringar Ras, it's moving like a river, sometimes on this bank and sometimes on that bank. It's the same river, it's the same water. When it touches one bank, it's called Sambhog. When it touches another bank, it's called Viraha. You know, that book is titled Embankment of Separation. But it's the embankment of union also. It's Sambhog is the river of their praying ras, and praying exchanges is continuous. There's never any break in the river of praying between Radha and Krishna. There's no dams there. You're talking about the damming of the river. It flows on and on and on. Does the water change its nature when it's on the left bank? Is it different water than the right bank? Maybe. The answer could be yes. Because maybe the right bank, the left bank is, that left bank may be some salty earth there. So when the water rubs against that salty earth, it picks up a little salty taste. But then when the water goes to the other side, maybe like sweet clay. You ever heard of Brahmandagat? If you take the clay there, it tastes salty. The earth is salty. So if the water runs by that, it'll be salty. Just like, the rainwater, when the rainwater comes from the sky, is it salty? How come when you make a boring in Vrndavana and take out the water, how does it get salty? Because the water passes through the salty earth and picks up a salty taste. So if the earth is sweet earth, then when the water passes through the sweet earth, then it maintains its natural taste of the rainwater and it picks up the sweetness of the earth. That's why we say, well, this is tasty. So that same river of prema sometimes has a salty flavor or a sweet flavor, but it just enhances the variegated nature of the river of love. So this is, let's see what's going on here. He's saying when, and I'm saying the same thing. Yeah, when? Saraswati Pada said, when will I go to a solitary place in Vrndavana? So that means for hearing and chanting about Krishna, at least in this particular time, because it's more of a meditative hearing and chanting, it should be a secluded area. There's also Sankirtan, many people dancing and some other thing. So when will I enter a solitary place of Vrndavana and loudly chant the names of Radha and Krishna? So I'm hearing and chanting. Then when will I remember the divine couple who are my life and soul, and as I remember them and chant, in a lonely place I will float in tears of love by chanting their nectarine holy names. So there's a lot of whens here. When will I float in tears of love by chanting their names? I float in the sheets of sleep. Sit in my bed and chant and fall down under the sheets of sleep. I float in the waves, float in the tears of love. That's a lot of tears to float a man. It takes a lot. As a result of not seeing them, I will be overwhelmed with distress and give up eating and sleeping. In other words, if one is so much burning with a desire to see Radha and Krishna And how can he waste time eating and sleeping? Because when he's eating and sleeping, that may be the time when they want to give their darshan or reveal themselves. So therefore, nidra hara vihara kani vijato, he reduces his eating and sleeping to the minimum. On seeing my pathetic condition, the kind-hearted Srimati Radhika will give me assurance through one of her maidservants. Seeing my pathetic condition, the kind-hearted Radhika will give me assurance through one of her maidservants. Thereafter, that doe-eyed and chanting Sakhi will come before me and solace me by saying, your desire will be fulfilled. So this can be taken on, of course, many levels, obviously, but some elementary levels, it can be that this is a prayer for someone who is in spurti, he's actually at the level of bhav or prema, and in his prem, or you say bhav, dristi, his meditation, he's seen it, he's entered into the lila pravesh, and he's sitting there, and he, or let's say she, or Siddhadeya as a mantri, are just loudly engaged in sankirtan, loudly chanting kirtan, let's say, loudly engaged in kirtan, chanting the names of his beloved Radha Krishna. And then, and feeling, oh, where are they? And Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays like this in Gita Mala and Siddhi Lalasa, very much exactly like this. And then the Guru Sakhi of that sadhu, that person who's chanting, when the gopi is chanting, will come and say, oh, you're crying so much, Radha Krishna. Come, your desire to serve them. You're thinking about serving them, meditating, and crying, come, you'll get to serve them. This very same thing is explained in Gita Mala by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He says, when will I take birth in the land of Vrindavan, and I'll sit in my seva kunj, in my lonely place, my nibritani kunj, and I'll collect water every day with a water pot on my head, like a mad woman, Pagalini, he says, Pagalini, like a mad woman, I'll chant the glories of Radha and Krishna, and then I'll sit in my seva kunj, remembering them and thinking of their service, but yet he has not rendered any service. And then one day I'll see coming along the footpath, Vilas Mandri was my Param Guru Sakhi, and my Guru Sakhi, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying. And with Rupa Mantri, they'll come along and say, what are you doing? What are you doing sitting alone in this kunja? And you're crying out Radha Krishna's name. What are you doing? And you're hankering for service. Come with us. Come now. Now is your opportunity. We made arrangement. Now your desire will be fulfilled. So that's explained in Gita Mala. It's not that you just take birth in Boma Vrindavan. Okay, here I am. Where's the chamra? I say that my Guru gave me the service at chamra. I'm supposed to fatten the Lord every night in the rasa dance or whatever. Like some people in Narliji Mandir, they have this service late at night. They pull on this rope, I think, that fan the deities, like old style. And then they recount so many experiences they have, and great siddhas from the past have done the same thing. And sometimes they see Kishori and hear ankle bells, and many things they tell. And that's the magic and mysteries of the Dham. The Dham is the place, the one and only place in this universe where you see the Gatana Agatana Patiyasi Shakti at work is Sri Dham Vrindavan, or Sri Dham Mayapur, the Holy Dham. Because Krishna uses his potency with his devotees. His potency is for his devotees. Otherwise, it's Maya Shakti is doing everything. And then this potency is so much surcharged and powerful and possible in Vrindavan. That's why you hear fantastic stories of saints from the Holy Dham. I don't hear so many stories about saints from Delhi, and I'm sure there are a few, must be some compilations. But whenever they write a whole book with 250 biographies, it's 2 or 3 volumes called Braj Bhakti, Braj Ki Bhakta, O.B.L. Kapoor, and it's in Hindi. And I think it's 2 volumes, it's like 28 editions or something. It's bestseller all over Rajasthan, BRUP. Very simple writing, but very good philosophy and tattva. He's Gaudiya Vaishnava. He took Babaji, but previously he was initiated by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Obial Kapoor. He's not here now. He's below Prati. But he describes all about the devotees, and hundreds of devotees, and they're all in Vrindavan, because Brajake Bhakti. About, you read it yourself?
Yes, the saints of Braj.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a portion of it. There's only 30, 40 saints there. But since you know Hindi, you could get that. It's available down Vrindavan by Bhakti Vihari. Kandela bookstore. Kandela is a big Hindi book. It's Hindi, spiritual books. And there's Bhaktamal, there's Vaishnava Abhidhan also. Bhaktamal is famous in Brajmandal especially, because it's Hindi. You remember Brahma Padmanabha, he was born from the lotus from the navel of Vishnu. 500 years ago was the time of Tukaram, all these great saints, Swami Haridas. There's a whole army of saintly people that 400 or 500 years ago, 6 Goswamis, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Navadas, Tukaram, Swami Haridas, Tanzen. It's all 400, 500 years ago. So when is that new age going to come again? When entering a part of Vrindavan where no one else may enter, loudly calling out the names of the two who are very dear to me, well, that's why it says Dvait, Nija, Dvait, or Dvaitiyor, Nam, Jalpano, Dashu, Nam Jalpa. Jalpa is a calling, Jalpa. Excuse me. I'll loudly call the names of the two who are very dear to me, weeping and very agitated. When will I meet one of my queen's splendid and doe-eyed maidservants who will console me with nectar words? Well, basically, this one's better, but it's the same idea. So now I've said this verse can be seen on 2 levels, many levels, but one level I mentioned, that one is actually a level of bhav, and he's entering the, he's actually in the lila, and all these experiences of a Sakhi coming and solacing him are seen in his bhav dristi, his meditation, his lila pravesh, and then he may wake up and come out of that vision, lose that vision, and lament and all these things, like Vila Kusumanjali or Utkali Kavalari by Rupa Goswami, etc. So the other way to see it is that the sadhaka is living in this Vrindavan, this Prakat Vrindavan right here, right now, and he's in sadhaka rup, and he's not on the level of bhava, but he is in a solitary place, and he's, as it says here, he's remembering the Lord. Of course, he may not be floating in tears of love, but that would mean he's involved or praying. But he may be intensely chanting and maybe in the level of a sakti or very much attached to the Lord and also feeling distressed. And he may also give up eating and sleeping. And seeing how much hankering, how much yearning that sadhaka has, his guru may come, that sadhaka's guru may come to relieve him. And the doe-eyed and chanting sakhi, the guru himself, he may come and say, and solace me by saying, oh, I see you're so serious about your sadhana, you're feeling so much urgency in your human life, and you want to spend every moment hearing and chanting, remembering the Lord, and you're crying out to the Lord, and you're hardly sleeping or eating, and you're desiring for this perfectional stage of some special service to Radha and Krishna. Oh, don't worry, very soon your desire will be fulfilled. So the Guru will come. The Guru himself, he speaks comforting words to remove the distress and anxiety of the practicing sadhaka. And when we read this verse, it reminds us that we can think of some example from our environment here in Radhakund. We think of one of our contemporaries, at least who was, at least visibly, so many people all around Vrindavan that are sitting in lonely kutirs and crying out loudly the Lord's name and hankering for that perfectional stage. But there's one Baba, we know that Baba from the Manipuri, the Manipuri Baba. He used to sit on the banks of Radhakund and loudly cry out for the mercy of Rupa Goswami and Radha Krishna. And he was not eating much and not sleeping much. He was always, practically all the time on the banks of Radhakund, remember? You saw? with the glasses, the mind-boring person. So now he's a little bit more hiding out, even more. But so there it was, and we can imagine that, and that with that, that genuine hankering and so much distress condition causing him. In other words, it's kind of like do or die situation. And someone becomes so much, a sadhaka is very determined and very sincere, then automatically he'll feel the urgency to attain perfection now. And whatever we shouldn't. What happens is Maya is a very tricky magician, let's say, tricky hypnotist. So she tries to hypnotize sadhakas and say, take it slow, it's okay, you're young, Rome wasn't built in a day, and just do your best, and what can you do? You're not a pure devotee, and maybe a few lifetimes from now you get serious. But actually, most sadhaka, most gurus, if you meet them, or at least a few I met, they said, well, we shouldn't think about another birth. Perfection is here. Perfection is right here in this life. We have to have that drita brata. Drita brata, that firm sankalpa. It must be a sankalpa. A sankalpa means an avocation, what you vow to do, and then it should be backed by drita brata. Intense, tivra drita brata. Intense determination. Dirga means big, intense, drita, intense, unbreakable determination, drita brata, to fulfill your sankalpa in this very life. Yes, I must see Radha Krishna, I must attain her eternal service, I must realize my Siddhadeha, I must attain Krishna praying. It's not like, we just keep looking at this color chart on the wall, like I have these color charts, infrared and then purple, and then it goes red, and then yellow, and it goes to ultraviolet to infrared, the color rainbow. And we look, that's that color, and that's that color. Here's the chart. Here I am in Anartha Nivritti. And here I am in Anartha Nivritti forever. I never come to Nishta. I can't move to the color band of Nishta, and I can't move to the color band of Ruchi or Asakti. And it's too far, and it's too far. As I mentioned once in a sweet note, I said in Kali Yuga, people quit before they try. People are so lazy in Kali Yuga, they quit before they even try. They look at the task in front of them. That's very big. Okay, I quit. We have to climb this mountaintop. No thanks, I quit. Well, at least try. Maybe, by God's grace and anything, a miracle can happen. I quit. Don't even take one step. Don't even take one step up the mountain. This is the speciality of Kali Yuga. We quit before we try. And we had an expression when I grew up. I don't think they have that expression anymore. But they used to say, well, give it the college try. I don't know why they said that, but something in college, maybe try harder or something. But they said, okay, come on, let's do this. No, I can't. No, come on, give it the college try. In other words, somehow people in universities and colleges, and college means university school, they're always trying to pass their exams by this way or that way, or any which way. So this way or that way, we should try to make progress in spiritual life and make that sankalpa. That's the sankalpa. Hey, forget about it. Hey, mind, what are you trying to tell me? The mind's trying to create complacency and laziness and lack of determination and excuses, not to surrender. It's so difficult, surrender, it's too hard. The mind is like this. And that's not only some housewife, the mind might say like that, even any sannyasi, baba, you think all the babas on the banks of Radhakund are totally fixed in their bhajan? It's not an easy life. So everyone has to renew their subscription to the Drita Brata magazine. You have to renew your subscription to your sankalpa. You have to keep on paying the dues so you can continue to be determined year after year, day after day. Like they have this phrase, and people like this phrase. They say, slow and steady wins the race. But don't be so slow that you're not moving. I want to add something to that. Hey, come on, Maharaj, come on, be patient. But Rupa Swami says patience is one of the qualities, 6 qualities positive for bhakti is patience. So I'm taking it easy, man. I'm patient. Slow and steady wins the race. I say, okay, fine, slow and steady wins the race, but at least, keep up with the pace. Keep walking pace by pace. Yeah, that's what I like to say. Slow and steady wins the race, but at least keep walking pace by pace. Hey, slow and steady. You're too slow. You're not that steady. You're too slow. You're not very steady. So you're not even slow and steady. I mean, that's not a joke, because slow and steady means nishta. Nishta means you're steady and maybe slow or fast. And if you're fastly steady, then you'll be soon tasting nice steadiness, and that's ruchi. And then your steadiness will become part of you. Your steadiness, you'll be so attached to the object of your steadiness, you'll be a sakti. You're steady to serve Krishna, and he becomes steadily fixed in your mind, so much so that you become attached to him, and he becomes attached to you. And then he says, when you have a sakti, I can't leave you. But he says, Yamam Pashiti Sarvatra, Sarvam Pashiti Sarvatra. So when we have a sakti and bhakti, we're attached to Krishna, he's attached to us, he can never leave us. We see him everywhere, he sees us everywhere. I think we'll close there today on this Vrndavana Mahimamrta. Prabhupada Saraswati Ki Jai. Vrndavana Mahimamrta. Vrindavan is a place full of glorious nectarine glories. Vrndavana Mahim, the great Mahimamrta, the great glories, the nectarine glories of Vrindavan. Can never cease to hear about it. We're all Brijvasis, everyone in this room is a Brijvasi. Quite an unusual gathering. It's very rare to give a class where everyone you're speaking to is a Brijvasi. But when you give class in Radhakund, most of on the Babas give class, everyone they're sitting in front is a Brijvasi. Brijvasi is one who has dedicated his life to Radha and Krishna, trying to serve them from moment to moment in the holy land of Braj. Brijvasi is someone whose consciousness is Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilapa Bhuta. Ananda Chinmaya Rasapri Bhavitavis. Tavira Eva Niju Ubhataya Kalavi. Goloka Eva Nivasatya. He's a Goloka Nivasi. A Goloka Nivasi is someone who is trying to give bliss to the heart of Krishna. Ananda Chinmaya Rasapri Bhavitavis. He's an expansion. We're expansion of Krishna. Nijrupatya Kala. We're expansion of Krishna. So some sadhaka who is trying to give bliss to Radha and Krishna, then he's a Brijvasi because his consciousness is living in that conception. His consciousness is living in a conception of giving happiness and bliss to Radha and Krishna moment to moment. So when his consciousness is living in that conception, that means vas, the resonance, the place. Where is your consciousness? Where is your consciousness? That's a good question. Is it in Maya or in Krishna? So when the consciousness is living in the conception, and the senses and mind are acting according to that conception by rendering pleasing service to Krishna moment by moment, then you've left everything. Eka Sharanam Praja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Praja. You've left everything. Sarvadharma Pratyaja, you've left everything. Everything else has left your consciousness. Dharma means form. The word Dharma means form. It means essence or form. So the form and essence of everything else has left your consciousness. Sarvadharma Pratyaja, Tyag. When that conception settles in the consciousness, then the form, any other forms, or essence, Dharma means the essence or form of something, like Vastu. All that is left is renounced, and then what's left is shelter of Krishna. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Your consciousness goes to Braj, then you become Brajvasi. So this is the kind of Brajvasi we should be. Jai Jai Shri Ram.